When we speak to board members of insurance carriers, regardless of whether they are multinationals, big domestic players or niche specialists, everyone agrees that the current pace of digital transformation is too slow. So, what strategies should insurers apply to accelerate? Where should they focus on for most impact? To achieve greater efficiency, better user experience, basically to grow the business, and all this simultaneously. Talkshow host Silvia Signoretti, President of the Swinch InsurTech Hub, will explore this and much more in the following 30 minutes. Post-digital maturity. What is the next step for digital transformation?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this talk show. Roger decided to give us quite a big challenge today to talk about post-digital maturity. And I think my very first question to everyone, before we focus on specific angles in this topic, is can we really speak about digital maturity in the insurance industry?
Sure, I'll take this one. So for me, I would take a bit of, I aim to get the topic a little bit. I can't see us being in a post-digital organization yet. I actually think we're more like in our teenage years. So there's some in the class that have really grown up quite quickly and they look very mature, but there's still quite a few of us with like scruffy beards that have a good bit to go, I think.
Thank you, Des. Faru.
Thank you, Sylvia. It's a pleasure to be here. By way of context, I am looking after reinsurance and also large commercial insurance. So I would say there isn't digital maturity within the industry, although there have been overtures in certain areas to bring in more digital transformation. But I would not err towards saying that we have strong level of digital maturity in this industry.
Thank you. Carlos.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Very well.
Okay. I think insurance sector is continuous fighting against the constantly change, and from my point of view, the maturity in one sentence is we still fighting against this change, and we have a plan, but still striving to reach the shore.
Excellent, thank you. Mark?
Yes, for globally, in the first approach is that the digital transformation is currently, for me, not at the maturity stage. We see a lot of problems in the digital transformation project, and I think that the evolution to the maturity need to be improved a lot.
Very good, thank you. So let me start with you, Mark, and a couple of questions. So digital maturity, how do you assess it? How can you break it down in a couple of specific dimensions?
Yes, so the maturity is hard to talk about maturity or post-maturity because it is still to do. So what we can speak about a level of maturity in terms of the insurance companies are currently working on digital transformation, but they still continue. The only way that we can measure the maturity, the digital maturity, is we see that they begins to work with. Sorry, I am a little bit stressed. So the digital maturity for most of the companies now they are sure that they need to transform. So this is the first step of the maturity. They need to transform, and they have begun some transformation.
Excellent.
But if we see some indicators around the maturity, we see that we have only scratched the surface of the digital, in terms of client experience expectations.
Okay, thank you. But maybe even if you just scratch the surface, do you think that there is a dimension, a particular dimension where the insurance industry is performing best, or maybe just giving me a couple of examples of where there is the best outcome on the digital maturity in the companies.
Yes, so we have to see, to measure this maturity first. So in the dimension, we'll begin by the assessment. So there is a lot of consultant insurance market who has details, who's defined details, capabilities and maturity and maturity matrix. But we think for the dimension that you have to take into account is two main factors. The first factor is how easy is for a client or for an insurer, partners, to do business with insurer companies. This is the first point. So the question is how is the insurance company paying claims? How the process, the policy process issuing is fast. So this is the first step. The second step is how fast is the how fast the insurance company will deliver the solutions, the insurance solutions, in terms of digital apps, digital experience. So this is two main factors that cover these two dimensions.
Excellent. So maybe to reinforce the message, how to see digital transformation going faster to reach digital maturity. What do you think we need to do? What advice would you give to our chief digital officers on the stage?
There's two main points for me. The first is to change the way to deliver digital apps and digital experience. This is the first point. And the second point is clearly when we create and we begin a digital transformation, it's not a thing that you will be able to create all the best solutions in the world. There is a lot of specialists that we see here today, and the idea is to provide a way to integrate all this technology, all these features inside a global program to cover all the needs and the process that you have defined.
Thank you very much. Let me move over to Parol. Digital maturity at Liberty Specialty Market. What can you tell me maybe about the superpower you're unlocking with your strategy?
That's a very good question. Firstly, I want to thank Mark. Mark, if I was a non-native speaker and spoke on such a complex topic as you are, I would be very proud of myself. So just wanted to say that. In Liberty, we are looking at digital transformation not as a project, but as a product. What that means in terms of the mindset is that it's not once and done. You cannot digitize a process and think that that's done and it's all over, I don't need to look at it again. You need to have the ethos of continuous discovery. And how do you drive customer value? And when we say customer value, will it solve a pertinent customer pain point? And will the customer be willing to pay for such a transformation to digitization? When we look at what the industry tends to do is it keeps looking for the low-hanging fruit which does not cause disruption to the existing process. But what that doesn't do is generate a ROI, release the customer pain point wherein the customer really sees the benefit of what you're doing. So there is a customer value vector, there is a viability or how do you release ROI factor, and then you have the factors around, is it feasible? Is the current technology allowing you to build this thing? So engineering should find your idea buildable, and finally, the user should find your idea usable. Whatever you have presented as an application should have good experience, good UIs, as you referred to, Mark, so that it becomes usable and adoptable. Because adoption is a very big point where, Sylvia, you would be aware that lots of digital transformation fails.
Yes, thank you. But it seems that one superpower is certainly your energy to talk about these topics. So Liberty Mutual being super lucky. But maybe you have encountered a particular challenge in implementing your long-term strategy.
Yes, so the biggest challenge is like everyone else. It's aligning the budgets and resources to what you want to do. The budgets and resources are put in certain places, which you believe serves the current business model, but does not serve a digital business model. How do you extract those resources, budgets, out of that in a timely manner with some urgency so that you can pursue digital transformation agenda?
Excellent. Let's go specific to technology adoption. And what is the technology you see now that is driving transformation and maybe helping you to get to a greater level of digital maturity?
So now it's a buzzword, but we are in commercial insurance and reinsurance very excited about generative AI. Now, why are we so excited? Is it because it gives what you call co-pilot-like capabilities to our underwriters. And why is co-pilot an important aspect is because a lot of the models require very rich data sets in order to have good predictive ability. But the generative AI, what it also gives is capability to structure data, extract data, then it always has a human in the loop, so the underwriter has confidence that it's white boxed. You can see exactly what you're doing. There is no black box which will structurally bias your information. And structural bias in a large risk can lead to large losses. It may not cause a human rights abuse like biases do in smaller risk, but what it does do is it can structurally not account for areas of risks because you don't have data depths. Like for cyber incidents might be rare, but near incidents is also a data factor which needs to be fed into it, which means that ability only an underwriter with a lot of experience will be able to bring in and point to.
Excellent, thank you. Maybe one last question. When we hear a lot about the insurtech unicorns, whether those are taken as digital mature models, or they are successful because they're buying love of the customer because low price strategy. Is there really something in their operating model that really should be something we should aim at?
So my opinion is that the current crop of digital unicorn in insurtech space, the full stack insurers do have advantage in terms of being digital first, not being saddled by expensive legacy technology. But what they also need to build on is underwriting excellence, like you and I talked about, Sylvia, because the underwriting results sustain the balance sheet, and insurance is a balance sheet business. So I think there is a certain set of digital excellence which puts them at a more mature forefront, but underwriting excellence will drive the long-term advantage.
Excellent, thank you. This is a great point. Thank you. So, Santa Lucia Seguro, did you run a digital maturity assessment in your organization, and what did you get out of it?
First of all, we made a previous exercise because we want to know what kind of company we want to be in the future. Not only in digital aspects, but on a wide perspective. So it's so important for us to have this wide perspective, to analyze current capabilities that we have, and after that, with a clear, a well-defined strategy, to looking for these digital capabilities that is going to accelerate our strategy in a global view. Not only we are going to make a digital maturity because we need to know what kind of company wants to be in the future. And you asked me about the lessons, the emerged or the questions. It was fun because the most important thing that we discovered in this process, in this analysis, was that the solution wasn't technology. The solution was always in front of our eyes and was the people. The most important in our organization is to have real, robust, and strong people to implement this strategy. Because you can invest a lot of money in technology, but if you don't have a stronger team that able to implement these kind of solutions, you are not going to be successful in your digital transformation plan.
Thank you. But I'm also curious, in terms of accountability, ownership, where should the digital transformation agenda sit? Who should own it?
What? Sorry?
Who should be the owner of the digital transformation agenda?
Owner of in our case, in Santa Lucia case, the owner of digital transformation plan is the company, the entire company. CEO is a relevant, is a key player to add value, to give the rest of the leaderboard a clear vision of our strategy, and also to give the engagement of the rest of the board. But obviously, you need to complement this figure, this person, with the rest of capabilities of the company. You have to define a strong change management process. You have to clear vision of the future of your company. You are constantly analyze the emerging technologies, and all of this is going to be. I don't know if all of this is going to assure your success, but it's easier than only one people.
Only one person. Thank you. So, before doing your digital maturity assessment, you said you wanted to define what your company wanted to be, how to stand out in the market. But then, how do you prioritize your digital transformation efforts?
Yeah, that's a good question. How prioritize initiatives when every initiative for all the areas are the most important in the company? How do you prioritize? So, from a digital transformation perspective, we try to implement an agile prioritizing model. So, I mean, some initiatives starting works on multifunctional teams, and it's easier to change the focus for the teams on that way that if you have encapsulated teams, it doesn't have multifunctional capabilities. So it's so complicated because business is changing every month, and prioritize is one of the real challenges that we have in our digital transformation plan.
Excellent, thank you very much. Maybe I would be keen to understand from you what is the future of hyper-automation in insurance? Can you tell me something about that?
So I would like to talk about a metaphor. A few years ago, I read a book called The Technology Fallacy. I recommend you this book because it's so interesting. Because he talks about a metaphor between digital transformation, hyper-automation, and the lovely movie, The Wizard of Oz. I don't know if you see that movie, but I think that every one of us, I saw this movie, and if you remember the first part of the movie, whole movie is in black and white color, with people in comfortable life, with specific roles established, and suddenly came a tornado, such as transformation plan or hyper-automation, and changed the whole life of these characters. And now with hyper-automation, I think is going to expect something close to that. For instance, once the tornado came, film was in color, same people is going to play different roles, And they, as a team, is going to face new challenges that I didn't expect in the past. So, from my point of view, the question was, what is the future of insurance in hyper-automation world?
My last question is, I don't know, maybe tricky. Digital sustainability and digital maturity. Are we talking about synonyms, or are those complementary views on how an insurance company has to progress?
From my point of view, I think sustainability is another ingredient that you need to be present in our digital strategy. So sustainability is going to, from my point of view, from Santa Lucia point of view, I think is going to add value in one side, but because it's going to reinforce your relationship with the customers, introduce or add sustainability initiatives inside of your digital agenda is going to add value in terms of operational efficiency, more innovation, reduction, wasting, and cost. But from my point of view, the most important thing is going to reinforce our relationship with the customers and partners.
Thank you very much. Des, last but not least, so the way to reach digital maturity, which approach, incremental or a radical one?
I think you'll find with many digital maturity processes is that there's no one or the other. You kind of need both in this case. For example, Allianz is a massive company, global, in 50 countries, 50 entities around the world. You can't do a revolutionary approach there. You'd want to be very brave, right? There's just too much at risk. But also, you can't really wait for an iterative approach to transform the company either.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons why we started Allianz Direct. We had a very normal reason, which is that we wanted to be the best online insurer in Europe. But we also said we're going to seize this opportunity of creating a new company to create it in a new way. And then we would use that new company as a lighthouse for the rest of the organization. And this is where the revolutionary part came in. Because it was a big enough company that it mattered, so it's not a toy, and that if we managed to make this transformation, people would say, okay, it can be done at scale. But it also wasn't so big that it wasn't nimble. And then what we were able to do is to iterate through and come up with ideas. We'll go a little bit more in later on about how we actually did inside, but the biggest thing we did was cultural. Right? And one of the big cultural changes was not being afraid of making mistakes. We tried things. Sometimes they worked, sometimes they didn't. Strangely, sometimes they worked when we were at this size and then broke when we got a bit bigger. You have to be constantly going back and reevaluating. You actually mentioned that earlier as well, right? You're not finished ever, and I think this is why we're not post-mature either. Okay. Yeah.
But so then, considering all this crowd outside of the insurtechs, what is the role of the insurtechs in the journey for digital maturity?
Yeah, I think they play a role in the ecosystem. It's the same with big companies as well. So whether it's big or small, one thing I think we would strongly suggest to the audience is that there's no blueprint, right? There's no magic recipe that you can just follow. What you need to do, though, is to gather ideas from different areas to build your story. And insurtechs can give you that idea as well, and big companies can give you that idea too, right? But while I was walking around here, something occurred to me as well. A lot of the stands that you see out there today from the insurtechs are about data and information. How can I gather data? How can I present it in a way? How can I make sense of this huge idea? And to me, that's a story that's maybe starting to be the next evolution in digital insurance. So we've seen things like large language models. What are they really for? They're there to help you understand massive amounts of information. We saw Apple's augmented reality headset. I know most people saw that as a cool new way to watch TV, but actually what Apple showed in their advertisements was people with 6 screens looking at information, right? And I think it occurred to me when I was looking at my son playing on his gaming machine, watching himself on Twitch, texting his friend at the same time. There's a whole new generation coming, and as large organizations, we need to make a home for them, right? We need to find ways to feed them information in a way that they can consume, because that's natural. I get terrified when I have 10 missed emails.
Yep.
My son probably has thousands of Twitch messages flying by his head every few seconds.
Excellent. So really, to look at digital mature examples outside of the industry to get
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah, and just remember, they're just examples and they're just ideas. You need to find your story.
Yes, excellent. And maybe you can tell me a little bit more about the power of culture in the organization for digital maturity and reaching the success you aspire to reach.
Absolutely. So when we started Allianz Direct, there was a couple of things we wanted to do. We wanted to be an engineering company at the start. We wanted to be really one of the market leaders in how we built things. But when it came to culture, the very first thing that resonated with us was that we didn't want to have business and IT, right? When you walked into Allianz Direct, there was no IT person, there was no business person. There was a team that did claims, a team that did self-service, there was a sales team, and they worked together.
Yep.
And I think that was the biggest cultural. All those barriers went down. It wasn't, oh, IT is too slow. It's no, I'm too slow. Me and my team are too slow.
Right.
And it totally transformed how we work.
Excellent. So it's not just about technology adoption, but it's really breeding the organization from within, from bottom up.
I think all of us have our own transformation. We're all going through it, right? But I don't think there's anyone in the room who will tell you it's an IT story.
Excellent. This ties very well with what Mark said. I think we have the last minutes before we close this talk show. And maybe it would be great to hear from all of you what is the one buzzword you need to keep repeating within your organization or with your clients that are a must-have to work towards digital maturity. Mark, you want to go first?
So for me, a low-code, no-code platform will enable collaboration for digital transformation.
Excellent. So low-code, no-code platform is your buzzword. Carlos, what is your buzzword? Yes? For the buzzword you keep on repeating within your organization, that is the thing everybody has to have on top of the agenda.
Core transformation. That's my... This is the word that I've been here months and months, and I expect to hear as well for the next years.
So it has to be on everybody's agenda.
Yeah.
Excellent. Parul, what is there for you?
I think it's what everyone else also has, basically, the co-piloting capabilities of generative AI, large language models.
Very good. Yes?
Yeah, I'm also going to cheat and use more than one word too. But if I say it really quick,
sorry.
It sounds like one. For us, the big thing, again, cultural, right? For end-to-end responsibility, bringing that into the teams and making them believe that they can do this, right? And we repeat that every day.
Yeah, which is a great thing coming from an engineer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The soft side of things. Thank you very much. Appreciate the conversation.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Joining me. Thank you, everybody from the audience.
Thank you.
Wish you a nice afternoon.